Love is not always gentle. Sometimes it is born in silence, grows in pain, and lives in shadows where the world does not see. This is the story of Hannah, a maid, and Joshua, a man broken by loss. A story of love that should not have happened, but did, fragile, forbidden, yet unforgettable. Hannah was 22 when she came to the city. She had left her small village, carrying nothing but a little bag and the memory of her mother's last embrace. Her father had died young. Her mother followed after illness. She was alone. She came to work as a maid in the house of Joshua Hale, a wealthy man in his late 30s. Joshua's house was big, modern, filled with silence. The kind of silence that feels heavier than walls. Joshua had once been married. His wife, Clara, had died in a car accident 5 years earlier. Since then, he lived like a shadow of himself. He ate little, spoke less, and loved no one. When Hannah entered the house for the first time, Joshua did not even look at her. He simply said, "The rooms are upstairs. Keep the house clean, that's all." And then he disappeared into his study. The days passed slowly. Hannah swept, washed, folded, polished. She moved like a ghost through the cold house. Joshua barely noticed her. Sometimes he would walk past her, silent, his face hard, his eyes lost. But Hannah noticed him. She saw the half-empty whiskey bottles. She saw the pictures of Clara, still framed on the walls, still smiling from another life. She saw his loneliness, and though he never spoke of it, she felt it. One night, when she passed by the study, she heard him crying. Not loudly, just a broken sound of a man who had forgotten how to hold back his grief. She stood by the door for a long time. She wanted to knock. She wanted to say something. But she did not. She simply whispered to herself, "He carries more pain than I do." It happened on a rainy night. Hannah had gone to clean Joshua's study. She thought he was asleep. But he was there, sitting on the couch, staring at a picture of Clara. His hands trembled. His face was wet with tears. When Hannah quietly stepped in, he looked at her. For the first time, really looked at her. "Why are you here?" he asked, his voice rough. I came to clean," Hannah said softly. There was silence. Rain fell against the windows like soft drumming. Then Joshua whispered, "Do you ever feel empty? Like you don't belong anywhere?" Hannah's throat tightened. Every day, he looked at her again, searching her eyes, and something broke inside him. He stood, walked toward her, and before either of them could stop it, he touched her face. It was not love, not yet. It was hunger, grief, loneliness, a desperate need for warmth. That night, Joshua took Hannah to his bed, and though she was only his maid, though she knew she should resist, she let herself fall into his arms. For the first time in years, he slept without nightmares. For the first time in years, she felt someone's heartbeat close to hers. Days turned into weeks. What began as a single night became many. Joshua would call her quietly, when the house was dark. She would slip into his bed, wordless, gentle. He would hold her as though she was both a stranger and a savior. It was not romance, it was need, a bargain between broken souls. But in Hannah's heart, something began to bloom. She knew he still loved Clara. She knew she was only a shadow filling a void. But the way he held her, the way his arms trembled when he embraced her, she could not help but fall deeper. Every kiss hurt her, because it was never fully hers. Every night felt like a sacrifice, because she gave her body while her heart longed for something more. She was a maid, and she was for sex. But her soul wanted love. Rumors began to spread. The neighbors whispered about Joshua and his young maid. The workers in the market looked at Hannah differently when she went to buy groceries. Joshua ignored it. He was used to the world's judgment. But Hannah felt the sting. She felt the shame. She felt as if her dignity was crumbling, piece by piece. One night, she asked him quietly, "Do you love me?" Joshua froze. He turned away, his back to her. After a long silence, he said, "Don't ask me that." Her heart cracked. She whispered, "I just want to know if I matter." He did not answer, and in that silence, she knew, Clara's ghost was still stronger than her flesh. One day, Hannah found a letter in the study. It was written by Clara, years ago. Joshua had kept it hidden in a drawer. The letter was full of love, memories, promises. Clara had written, "If ever I am gone, live. Please, Joshua, live." Hannah read it with trembling hands. Tears filled her eyes. She realized then, Joshua was not living. He was surviving, and she was the bridge between his loneliness and his memories. She was both his comfort and his prison. That night, Hannah gathered courage. When Joshua reached for her, she held his hands away. "No, Joshua," she whispered. He looked at her in shock. "What is it?" Hannah's voice broke. "I can't keep giving myself to you if I don't have your heart. I am not just a body. I am not just a maid for sex. I am a woman who loves you. Joshua's face turned pale. He said nothing. I love you, Hannah whispered again. Her tears fell. But if you cannot love me back, then let me go. For the first time, Joshua could not hide. He broke down. He held his face in his hands and wept like a child. Hannah, he whispered, I don't know how to love anymore. My heart is buried with Clara. You deserve more than this broken man. Her heart shattered, but she touched his face gently. Maybe all you need is to be embraced. Maybe love is not buried, it's only waiting. She pulled him into her arms, and for a moment, it felt as though the whole world disappeared, leaving only their pain and their embrace. Weeks later, Hannah made her choice. She packed her small bag again. She could not stay in the house where her love would always be half-answered. She left Joshua a note. You gave me warmth when I was alone. You gave me pain that taught me what love means. But I must go, because love without freedom is a wound that never heals. If you ever learn to live again, find me. And then she left. Joshua woke to find her gone. He searched the rooms, the kitchen, the garden, empty. Only silence remained. For the first time in years, he felt true fear. Not the fear of loneliness, but the fear of losing the one person who had touched his broken heart. Months passed. Joshua changed. Slowly, painfully, he began to face the world again. He put away Clara's pictures, not to forget, but to let go. He stopped drinking. He began writing letters, but he never sent them. Letters to Hannah, letters to Clara, letters to himself. One spring morning, he went back to Hannah's village. He found her working in a small cafe, her hands still rough from labor, her eyes still tender but guarded. When she saw him, she froze. Joshua walked up to her, his eyes wet. Hannah, he whispered, I came to live. She trembled. She wanted to run. She wanted to fall into his arms. He knelt before her, in front of strangers, and said, I cannot change the past. I cannot erase the pain I gave you. But if you allow me, I want to love you. Not as a maid, not as a shadow, but as the woman who saved me. Tears fell down Hannah's face. She whispered, Joshua, I never stopped loving you. And this time, when he embraced her, it was no longer hunger. No longer grief. It was love. Their story was never perfect. There were still scars, still nights of silence, still memories of Clara. But there was also healing. There was sacrifice. There was the power of embrace. Because sometimes, love does not come as a gift. It comes as a wound that teaches you how to heal. And Hannah, once a maid, once just a body, became the woman Joshua learned to live for.